FHA does have something called an FHA anti-flip rule. And why that's in place is because FHA wants to prevent buyers from getting caught up in any kind of property flipping scheme. So property flipping is when the seller recently acquired the property and they're trying to sell the property at an inflated cost, an inflated price, utilizing an inflated value. So you can see why FHA wants to help prevent buyers from getting caught up in that. So here's what FHA says. If the seller has purchased the property 90 days or less prior to the current transaction, then the buyer is not allowed to utilize an FHA loan at all. It's just not allowed, period. However, if the seller has purchased the property 91 to 180 days prior to the current transaction, then that would be allowed as long as we can prove that value. So 91 to 180 days, we're going to be researching to make sure that we can prove value. We may even have to get a second appraisal in order to approve the value. Now, that second appraisal, that cost is not passed on to the buyer. That's something that the lender takes care of. You also need to know there's a few exceptions to the FHA anti-flip rule. So one exception would be if the seller inherited the property. That would be an exception. And then, of course, if they're a builder and they recently built the property, that is also considered an exception to the FHA anti-flip. Hey, there's a lot of details to this FHA anti-flip, so I'd love to talk through those details with you and, of course, talk through those exceptions as well. Reach out anytime. Be happy to help.